I had a manager who we parted ways some time ago. So one night, he was like, yo, I got a show for you. It's gonna be an actual birthday party at this club. And I was like, I never heard of the club. But I was like, all right, I'll check it out, I'll do it. So I show up to the venue, we're doing sound check, whatever. And I still was kind of like, I don't know anything about this club. Like, it's like a little hideaway, almost like a bungalow. And it turned out to be like a restaurant by day and like a bar and club at night. So I was like, okay, this may be something new they're working on. There's a beautiful lady at the door. There's a couple couples sitting inside. And I'm just doing sound check, running over there, making sure my CD's right and everything's cool. So they start opening doors and people start coming in. So I'm like, yo, let me run to the restroom real quick. Run into the restroom, wash my hands, come out, and it's like a room full of dudes now. Alright, it's a bunch of dudes here. This is gonna be like a sausage fest or whatever. Like, it's just a bunch of dudes, like a handful of ladies in here. I'm like, alright, whatever. I guess it's just like his frat brothers or like his homeboys, because it was somebody's birthday, right? Then I start to kind of like look around the room and I notice like all the dudes are like holding hands or like being really affectionate towards each other. And I'm thinking to myself like, oh man, like, nah, say it ain't so. It doesn't matter to me if it was disclosed up front.
And then you still did the show?
Yeah, I rocked the show and they were into it. And they were like, yo, you dope, so-and-so. Some of them ended up like coming to shows and whatnot and buying CDs. So, and it taught me a different lesson too. It was like, really, at the end of the day, do I really care who's listening to my music that hard? This is music that people can relate to. And if somebody likes it, I did my job. You know, nothing else really matters at the end of the day. My name is Mic Skills. I'm an MC, home, Houston, Texas, 30 South. I've been doing this for approximately 10 years amateurly and 4 years serious pro-am circuit. I never had a rap name. I just did it for fun, and people just like, yo, keep rapping. Like, people didn't want me to stop, and it just caught on. People was like, yo, he got Mic Skills. I was like, oh word, my name's Mike. I was like, man, that'd be a dope rap name. I'm like, you're right, it would be. The story of Mic Skills is an ordinary individual with an extraordinary life. And I say that because I've gone through so much in all my years on earth. I tell people all the time I grew up in the suburbs. Growing up in the suburbs for me was like the opposite of growing up in the ghetto, but the same. There were still struggles. There was still having to explain to my friends, you know, why we had candles on in the house, or you know, why don't you just turn on the lights? Because our power's out. You know, what do you mean your power's out? Just turn the light on. Like, no, you don't understand. Our power's out. I don't think a lot of the world likes to glamorize the struggle and things that people really go to on a day-to-day basis. I think a lot of times the real negative parts of the struggle are glorified as far as, well, my life was rough, so I hit the streets and I sold dope or whatever, or, you know, I had to join a gang or whatever. That's one alternative. That's not the path that I took. I had the opportunity to learn from my older brothers that went through things, and even with that, I still had to fight my own battles with everything. So whenever I tell my story, I feel like an underdog. I feel like my entire life I've been treated like I'm different. I don't think the average person can identify with being super wealthy or being super poor. I think for the most part, everyone is in the middle. I think even though we look at the world now, it seems like the middle class is disappearing, but there's a huge gap between the extremes. And I definitely feel like the normal things that we all go through, everyone can identify with. I think a lot of people can identify with being fired from their job, or, you know, can identify with breakups, or, you know, parents separating, and, you know, being stopped by the police just because you look suspicious to police. You know, I think everybody can identify with that. I think if anyone that's ever been broke knows what ramen noodles are, and knows the different combinations of what you can do with ramen noodles to feed yourself. So it's like, that stuff is automatic because you already know it. I think a lot of times artists focus on, this is what I want and this is what I've seen, so I'm just copy that and do that because that looks like the safe route. Doing something that a lot of people told me I could not do, would not be able to. Just more or less defying the odds. And it's like, if I could do that with what I have now, imagine what I could do next with what I'm about to get.
Hands in my pocket as I'm walking past them, they react, locking the door fast like I'ma jack them. Kinda wish I was, but now I wanna smack them in the back of the head and ask them, you got aspirin?